Avoid this enormous retirement mistake. I'll tell you about it coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. You have got to avoid this retirement mistake. And you know what? It's an easy one to make. In fact, there is a very well-known company that advertises online their commercial, and it's baiting you right into this mistake. What is it? What's my number? What's my number? Have you seen that commercial where people carry around what their number is and they're walking around? They can retire once they save up this much money. It's logical, right? Actually, if you think about it, well, I just need $1 million because if that $1 million can return this amount, or if I can earn this much interest, that's enough for me to live, no problem. And you get focused on what that number is, and that's the target. It's clear, it's easy, logically it makes sense. It can be an enormous retirement mistake. Why? Because it avoids all of the other variables that all go into figuring out whether you can actually sustainably retire. Just focusing on how much money do you need to have saved up, just focusing on your number is completely ignoring all of the other very, very important variables that all need to be factored in to determine if you can retire. Think about it this way. You know, I'm a Disney fan, and not right now, mask on and all that. So I'm not like diehard Disney fans. I got a friend going at the end of the month. They've been going every year for whenever. I'm not going with the mask on. All right. So we're not. But we went last year. And think of it this way. What if you had in mind, well, it costs $4,000 to go to Disney. And so that's what you had in mind is $4,000. That's my number. I need to save up $4,000. I need to build up cash for $4,000, and then we'll be able to go to Disney. Well, wouldn't that matter if you knew you were going for 3 days or a week or 2 months? I mean, wouldn't that number totally it's not even connected to, well, are you going to be on the dining plan? Are you going to stay there for a full month? What resort are you staying in, or are you doing the camping lodge? It ignores all of those other things. And you might say, well, yeah, but some of those things were factored into coming up with what my number is. Yeah, I know, I get that, but they all need to be working together. Any slight change in one influences all of your options in the other. So it is an enormous retirement mistake to just look and say, I can retire once I've got this much money saved up. Okay, let me tell you about some of the big variables it avoids. And the first one goes right to that Disney example if you follow that. If you say you had in mind, well, I need to have $1.5 million saved up before I can retire. If you hit that number by age 49, does that mean you're ready to retire and can retire? That means your retirement might last 40 or 45 years. Is that amount of money enough to last that long? So you've got to look at what age are you going to be retiring, because that influences how long retirement's going to last. And the shorter your retirement is, the less you need to have saved up. The longer it is, the more you need to have saved up. So the easy way I would adjust the thinking of, well, what's my number, is you got to think about number and age, or number and year. So if you want to retire at a younger age, you got to have a higher number. If you want to retire at an older age, it can be a lower number, although still probably a big amount, right? So you can't just isolate one variable. Obviously, age is significantly important, okay? What about spending? So back to the Disney example, we always stay at Art of Animation. We like to be on Disney property, and we like the bus system, all that sort of stuff. But it is one of the cheapest resorts out there because we're never at the resort. Kids have never even swam in the pool at the resort, although they would love to. They look and they're like, oh, let's swim in that pool. No way, Magic Kingdom's just down the road. We're going there instead. So obviously, it depends how much are you going to be spending in retirement, and you've got to include expenses that are new, that might be new in retirement that don't exist today. What are those? Healthcare. Healthcare, just carrying around, just focusing on how much money do I need to have saved up by retirement, just focusing on your number, completely ignores health insurance and the health insurance costs. If you retire, if you reach that number at age 59, what are you going to do about health insurance? You've got to figure that out. I'm not saying health insurance is a reason you can't retire. I'm saying it might make that number, it might force that number to be even higher, right? So whether you are able to get COBRA, whether you can get on Affordable Care Act, whether you are working part-time and can actually get still some health insurance benefits, all of that factors into your ability to retire. There's lots of other variables that factor in as well, other than just the number. But the last one that I would tell you that I'd focus on today, and this one this one would create an enormous mistake potentially if you are if you're looking at just your number. And that's the two things that we pretend really don't really exist. And that is taxes and inflation. Those two kind of silent killers can make an enormous dent in your retirement nest egg. So today, if you think, well, I only need to, I'm debt free and we live really frugal, we only need $4,000 a month to live the lifestyle that we want. Well, $4,000 a month today, when you factor in inflation, if your retirement's going to last decades and decades and decades, $4,000 a month today will be $8,000 a month out there in the future. Can you account for that? The longer your retirement is, the more inflation is a risk that you need to manage. And yes, investments, the stock market tends to be the best place that you can have money to fight and battle inflation. However, as soon as you retire, you're dialing back the risk with some of your accounts, and therefore you've got fewer dollars that are in that the best antidote to inflation, and that's the stock market. So you've got to be aware of how inflation will influence your overall retirement, and then taxes as well. Taxes as well. If you think, well, as soon as I hit $1 million, I can just earn 3% on that money, and I can draw that out, and I can live on $3,000 a month. It's just me. I'm single. Things are easy. Yeah. What about taxes? What about taxes? If you can live on $3,000 and therefore you need to take 36 out, do you need to take 40 or 42 out just to cover the taxes? When you need to buy a vehicle, when you need to replace a vehicle, and you need to take another 30 grand out of your retirement account, what about taxes there? So if you've got $1 million saved up, but it's all pre-tax, then really you only have $750, maybe, or $800 after taxes. So be aware, and you've got to account for those silent killers, inflation and taxes. All of this means I like the idea, and it's logical to think of what's my number? What is my number? But if that's all you're focusing on, you are missing it, and you're at great risk of making a retirement decision, probably the biggest financial decision of your life, on not all the information, on the wrong information. Your ability to retire depends on 5 interrelated factors: age, spending, and inflation, and health insurance. All of that bakes in there. Okay, what your income sources will be, so Social Security, how much will it be? Do you have a pension? When to draw Social Security? All that. Yes, your number. How much do you have in assets, and then how much are you saving between now and retirement? And then lastly, your risk and return, which we didn't even talk about how that's changed, and I've made a few videos about that as well. So you've got to have a discussion about those 5 interrelated variables, the 5 factors we call them, and you've got to stress test how all 5 of those factors work together to see when you can retire. Okay, that's the process that your certified financial planner should go through. That's the process that our team goes through here at KFG. The 5-factor retirement plan. We can help you with that. If your CFP isn't helping you figure that out, feel free to give us a call. We're happy to help. You can find us online, wisemoneyshow.com. You can also find us at korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. Or like I said, give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.